my name is Akiva Goldman. I'm the director and founder of Goldman & Associates. Our firm has a primary focus on family law issues here in Michigan, and today we're going to continue our video series designed to educate and inform the public, so please subscribe to our channel. I want to talk a little bit about domestic violence cases and the protection orders that come along with it. So it's very important to understand the dynamic. When you charge someone with domestic violence, which means here a husband and wife, let's say, are having a fight. Police are called, maybe by the wife, maybe by the husband, maybe by a neighbor who hears some altercation going on. Somebody calls the police and they show up. And then they decide that it is appropriate to charge someone with domestic violence. Now, that's a crime. Even if at its lowest level, it's still a misdemeanor. Someone can go to jail for in excess of 90 days, on a crime like that. 93 days more specifically, sometimes more, depending on if it's second offense or third offense or how aggravated. There's all sorts of, parameters. So it's serious. Anytime you can lose your liberty, it's serious. So what happens with that? So somebody gets charged, but along with the charge, there is a no contact order entered. It's like a protection order. It basically says, wife, you're charged with a crime. We're removing you from the premises. You cannot have contact with your spouse. Husband, you assaulted her. You're going to be out of the house. You can't contact your wife. So the purpose of the order, which is done by operation of law, you physically get an order that says you can't have contact once you're charged. The purpose of that order is to protect from the battered spouse, from the person who's been subject to ongoing abuse. That's very, very interesting because a lot of people don't realize the significance of that order. The no contact order doesn't necessarily mean that you can't, hit him with a frying pan. It means you can't call him either. It means you can't have any contact with the person. It means what it says, no contact order. Now, I was in court not long ago where there was a domestic violence. Husband was removed from the house. He's a plumber. He was staying in a motel. There was a no contact order. Wife calls him up because a pipe burst and now the basement is flooding like crazy. And he rushes over doing nothing but shutting the water and then, doing an immediate repair so that there isn't a disaster. And then he leaves. This came to the court's attention and the court held him in contempt and put him in jail for violating the no contact order. And he said, Judge, what do you want me to do? A, she called me. B, I had a disaster on my hands. And the court said, you know what? When I have a disaster on my hands, I call a plumber. There's a zillion plumbers out there. She did the wrong thing by calling, and you were under the order, and you shouldn't have gone. So this is how serious the no contact order is. Both parties are bound by it. And what a lot of times people don't understand is that once the person's out of your house, if they support you, if they give you money, if they do certain things, part of running your household is you get a check from your wife or a check from your husband, it's put in the bank, you get money, you buy groceries. You're not going to be doing that anymore. You're not going to be doing that until the court lifts that order. So a lot of times in the domestic violence cases, you'll have the wife come in and say, I don't have food to feed my kids. You got to lift that order. And the court will make sure that there's no threats and blah, blah, blah. And sometimes the court will lift the order. But the court is very sensitive about being used as a marriage counselor. The court doesn't like when people get the whole of the police and the prosecution working for them, and then all of a sudden they pull it back. Oh, it wasn't so bad. Oh, I was just trying to scare him. The court's not in the business of scaring people. The court is involved in crime and punishment in the criminal courts. That's what they do. So the court doesn't like when somebody cries wolf and calls the police but didn't really mean it. Has the domestic violence but doesn't want the no contact order. So you have to be very careful about this. That said, you have to understand that there will be a no contact order in a domestic violence case, so you've got to take that into account if you're in that situation and wondering, should I call the police, should I get them involved, or rather, is this the kind of thing that I can work out? If you can, great. If you can't, call the police and let the chips fall where they may.